Welcome to episode 32 of ECTEL Bytes. The show is a production of the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, and I'm your host, Coretta Cook-Strauss, ECTEL's Communications and Media Relations Manager. Thank you so much for joining us. We created this space to provide you with information about developments taking place in electronic communications by the Directorate and like-minded organizations. Our special guest is Dr. Marcia Atherley-Ikechi. She's the Executive Director of the Organization of Caribbean Utility Regulators, OOCUR. Welcome to ECTEL Bytes, Dr. Atherley-Ikechi.
Thank you so much for having me.
On our last show, our guests were speaking about what's in store for CTU ICT Week 2025 taking place in Jamaica from September 29th to October 3rd. Well, today our special guest will be turning the spotlight on yet another event that's being organized for telecommunications regulators, as well as for those in the electricity and water and storage sectors. It's the OOCUR's 20th Annual Conference. It will be hosted in Montego Bay, Jamaica from October 26th to the 29th. But since that it's Dr. Atherley-Ikechi's first time on the show, I'd like you to tell us a bit about yourself and what your role entails as Executive Director at OOCUR.
Okay, thank you again. I serve as the Executive Director of the Organization of Caribbean Utility Regulators, which is essentially the umbrella body of currently 17 utility regulators in the region. As Executive Director, my role encompasses leading the organization's mission to improve utility regulation across the Caribbean. It includes facilitating training and information sharing, fostering transparency and stable utility regulation through autonomous and independent regulators in member countries, and coordinating regional collaboration initiatives. Prior to that, I was Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Trading Commission in Barbados. Many of our members are multi-sector regulators, meaning that they do either one or two or all three of the regulated sectors, main regulated sectors, being water and wastewater, telecommunications, and electricity as well. So those are the primary ones. However, we have a few of our members that also do transportation, and there's one member that has now ventured into the area of health.
Okay, so you cover quite a bit of sectors then. Okay.
Yes.
So for those who may not be familiar, what exactly is OOCUR and why is it important to the region?
It is a non-profit organization which was established in Jamaica, coincidentally, in 2002. The organization plays a critical role in the Caribbean by working to improve utility regulation, and persons do not necessarily understand what utility regulation involves. Largely when you have a monopoly provider, there is the opportunity for the entities to engage in behavior that is not necessarily to the benefit of all the stakeholders, including consumers. So the idea of allowing utility regulation to take place is to have that oversight into the operations and the financial position of the utility. It is not intended to be solely focused on the rights and responsibilities of the consumer, but is to balance the interests of the utility with that of the consumer and the wider community, because there's recognition that there's investment made by the utility, but also that they must provide services at an affordable rate, given the construct of the environment in which they operate in. And that's whether they are operating water, telecommunications, or electricity type service.
Okay, thank you. So let's go into the conference now. Can you give us a sneak peek into what it's all about?
OOCUR's 20th Annual Conference is scheduled to take place between the 26th and 29th of October next month at the Jewel Grand Resort and Spa in Montego Bay, Jamaica. It is a milestone conference and is projected to host over 100 attendees, comprising of local professionals, as well as visitors from the Caribbean, North America, Latin America, and Europe. At this point, we actually have the Prime Minister of Jamaica expected to make the opening remarks, and the closing ceremony will be addressed by the Minister of Home Affairs of Bermuda. The conference represents a significant regional gathering that will bring together utility regulators, attorneys at law, engineers, and other professionals, policymakers, academics, and service providers for high-impact dialogue, learning, and collaboration. You would appreciate that utility regulation is a multidisciplinary job. You must be able to bring all of these various disciplines together and have at least a rudimentary understanding of each of them to be able to function properly. And therefore, it's important to bring all of these persons with all these skill sets together so that we can make the most and ensure that utility regulation within the context of the Caribbean is being executed effectively. For the first time in OOCUR's history, the conference will include an award program recognizing excellence and innovation in Caribbean utility regulation. And I'm particularly excited about that one.
Okay, interesting. So I'll be following that.
Yes.
So in terms of the theme, it is navigating Caribbean regulatory challenges, opportunities, innovations, and collaborations. What do you think are some of the real issues regulators in the Caribbean are facing right now?
Caribbean regulators are really confronting several pressing challenges. Key among them would be the global issue of climate change and infrastructure resilience that would go with that. In an era of rapid technological change, climate challenges, and evolving consumer expectations, regulators must be more adaptive, more collaborative, and more innovative than ever. Caribbean countries face vulnerabilities to fossil fuel price volatility, concerns about energy systems resilience, availability, and water quality, as well as telecommunication access and affordability, to name a few. In terms of the complexities related to the energy transition, the region's energy transition has been slow and incremental. The small nature of Caribbean economies and the energy grid result in small renewable energy projects with high costs due to several factors: regulatory, technical, financial, and political. There is a need to update our regulatory frameworks, and there's discussion around that and how to be able to adapt to cutting-edge technologies such as 5G, the Internet of Things. How do we incorporate cybersecurity into our efforts to ensure the resilience to human attack? Because we recognize that these utility sectors are the backbone of our productivity, and therefore they have to be able to withstand any attack, which we know invariably will come. There's the whole issue of regional coordination. On the table currently, we are looking at an initiative as given by CARICOM to look at a regional utility regulator, and that will be up for discussion as well.
Okay, you touched on it a bit, but I want us to go in it some more. The word collaboration, it really stands out in the theme. And I was wondering, why do you think working together across the region and across the various sectors is so important?
It is crucial. There's an old saying, there is strength in unity. We must recognize that we are very small individually. When we come together, we can overcome some significant barriers, even in terms of procurement, for example, of technologies. If we do that as a collective body across the region, we're able to gain economies of scale and therefore reduce costs. Not only in terms of saving in terms of transportation, but the unit cost of the various technologies as well. Really, the Caribbean faces unique regulatory challenges that require unique Caribbean solutions, homegrown solutions. The conference provides the platform where these solutions are born, partnerships are forged, and the future of the Caribbean regulation is shaped. Collaboration is essential because Caribbean nations share similar challenges, but often lack, as I said before, the individual capacity to address them alone. Regional cooperation can transform the utility landscape for Caribbean nations. For example, developing interconnection between island grids enables resource sharing and improve overall reliability, while facilitating regional platforms for knowledge sharing, promoting collaboration and best practices, and technological innovation. A collaborative approach allows smaller or nascent regulatory agencies to pool resources, share expertise, and develop standardized frameworks that benefit the entire region while maintaining national sovereignty over utility regulation.
Okay, thanks. Well said, Dr. Atherley-Ikechi. So on the flip side, what exciting opportunities are you seeing for regulators and the industries they serve?
Again, there are many. There's innovation and regulation. The conference will honor, as I said before, the most innovative regulators in 4 categories: water and wastewater, telecommunications, electricity, and consumer protection, showcasing best practice across the region. So you're able to understand what is taking place, what is deemed best practice, and therefore you're able to learn from those experiences, not having to go through the pitfalls, but able to easily take what has been proven and utilize that within your own environment. In terms of sustainable technology investment, there are strategies for promoting private sector investment in sustainable water-based technologies. These things will be discussed, including desalination, rainwater harvesting, and really and truly wastewater reuse, because we are at the point where that has come to be a main conversation point within the water and wastewater sector. How do we utilize the scarce resource that we have? These approaches are essential for addressing both supply and demand in the water sector.
Okay, so OOCUR has been around for a while, as you indicated. How does it help members stay ahead of significant changes, big changes, whether it's in new technology or other challenges?
A wonderful question, and I when I say this, I want to speak directly to other regulators in the region that have not necessarily joined OOCURs yet. OOCUR serves as a knowledge sharing platform, an early warning system for regulatory changes. The organization helped members through a number of areas. In terms of continuous learning, we offer regular conferences, workshops, training programs to keep regulators informed about emerging technologies, regulatory best practice, and innovative solutions. We offer a level of regulatory regional intelligence, where the organization facilitates an understanding of regulation issues and sharing of information and experiences across member countries, allowing regulators to learn from each other's successes and challenges. And I'll give you an example here. Only yesterday, the Barbados FTC issued a decision on storage, and that was shared on the platform. So members can go, have a read, and understand the mechanics of the framework. In terms of strategic partnerships, OOCUR connects Caribbean regulators with international partners, development organizations, and technology providers to access cutting-edge knowledge and resources. We also are in the space of policy development as we provide forums for developing coordinated regional approaches to emerging challenges across all regulated sectors. From renewable energy integration to cybersecurity threats.
Earlier you had mentioned that there are 17 regulators throughout the region. Is that representative of your members or you have more members?
We have 17 members.
17 members, okay.
Yes.
All right. See, there's definitely room for growth.
Yes, there's room for growth. We have a number of regulators that are not joined on yet. We open the doors to them, we invite them to our conferences, and we are encouraging them to really join and be a part of this very transformative organization.
Okay, thank you. So as we get ready to wrap up, why should people, whether policymakers, businesses, or the public, pay attention to the upcoming conference and to OOCUR?
OOCUR and its upcoming conference matters for several reasons. Chief among them would be that effective regulation is a critical enabler of sustainable development, period. If I'm to break that down and look at the various components, it's the economic impact. Effective utility regulation directly affects energy costs, infrastructure investment, and economic competitive across the Caribbean. The upcoming conference will solidify the Caribbean region as an upholder of regulatory structure. In terms of consumer protection, the dedicated professionals work tirelessly to ensure that Caribbean consumers receive reliable, affordable service quality across all the sectors regulated. In terms of regional development, the conference will bring together regulators, policymakers, industry players, experts, academics, and civil society explores to explore solutions that empower communities and drive sustainable development. And again, as an example of that, there is a service providers panel that we are proposing to host on the very first day. And this really is intended to provide a very frank discussion with the service providers as to what is working and what is not as it relates to utility regulation, so that we can go forward doing better, and we can build those relationships and make those linkages to ensure that the society as a whole benefits for what we're seeking to achieve.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So where can persons register to participate? And for those who may not be able to attend in person, is there an opportunity for them to follow virtually?
Unfortunately, it's very much an in-person conference, but registration for OOCUR, the OOCUR conference, which is in Jamaica, is now open. And you can go to it through touchlink.com/OOCUR-conference-registration. Or you can go through the OOCUR website, newookur.org or ookur.org, to be able to register. Again, the conference dates are October 26th to 29th at the Jewel Grand Resort and Spa in Montego Bay in Jamaica.
And just to ensure persons got that right, so it's OOCUR.org. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So, all right. So any closing remarks, Dr. Atherley-Ikechi?
Yes. The OOCUR conference really, I want to just drive home the fact that it represents a pivotal moment for Caribbean utility regulation, as the region stands at the crossroads of technological transformation and climate adaptation. And this is again across all three sectors. The impact is not limited to any particular sector. The 20th anniversary gathering is more than just a milestone. It's a statement of 2 decades of collaborative progress and a launching pad for the next phase of Caribbean regulatory evolution. The Caribbean faces unique regulatory challenges that require unique Caribbean solutions. Again, homegrown solutions. I always try to stress that our solutions have to be contextual. The upcoming conference embodies this philosophy, bringing together the collective wisdom and innovative spirit of Caribbean regulators to forge a path towards a more resilient, sustainable, and equitable utility landscape. The convergence of opportunities from renewable energy breakthroughs to options for water and wastewater infrastructure investment to digital transformation initiatives positions the Caribbean to leapfrog traditional infrastructure limitations and emerge as a global leader in sustainable utility regulation. However, realizing this potential requires the kind of regional cooperation and knowledge sharing that OOCUR has facilitated for over 2 decades. From stakeholders across the region, OOCUR 2025 offers an unparalleled opportunity to be part of shaping the future of Caribbean utilities. Whether you are a regulator seeking innovative solutions, a policymaker crafting enable legislation, a business leader exploring new opportunities, or a citizen advocate concerned about affordability and reliable service, this conference provides the platform to contribute to meaningful change. The journey towards regulatory excellence is ongoing, and OOCUR 2025 represents both a celebration of progress made and a strategic planning session for the challenges that lie ahead. By participating in this landmark conference, stakeholders join a movement that extends far beyond any single island or sector. They become part of a Caribbean-wide effort to build utility systems that are resilient, innovative, and truly serve the people of this remarkable region.
Thank you so
The
much
future of
for
Caribbean utilities is being written now, and OOCUR 2025 is where the story takes its next important chapter.
I interrupted before you were finished. My apologies.
No problem at all.
Thank you so much for being our guest, Dr. Atherley-Ikechi. And I'm really wishing you a very successful and impactful conference.
Thank you.
Okay. So in case you joined us late, our special guest was Dr. Marcia Atherley-Ikechi. She's the Executive Director of the Organization of Caribbean Utilities Regulators, or OOCUR. She provided quite a bit of information about the upcoming conference, which is scheduled to take place in Montego Bay, Jamaica from October 26th to the 29th. She spoke a lot about collaboration and the need for there to be homegrown solutions from the Caribbean to tackle the many issues that we're facing across the various utility sector. So if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section below and we'll be happy to reply. And apart from being on Facebook, the recording of ECTEL Bytes will also be on our YouTube channel, which is at ECTEL, and also on Instagram, LinkedIn, and X at ECTEL Authority. And of course, it will be placed on our website, www.ectel.int. So be sure to share it with your contacts who may not be on Facebook. So that's it for episode 32 of ECTEL Bytes. Thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you again virtually very soon. I'm your host, Curtis Strauss, ECTEL's Communications and Media Relations Manager. Thanks for watching again, and until next time, do take care and keep safe.